Hello again, and this part is about the conclusion, writing the conclusion of the writing task 2. Before we start with the examples, there are three examples that we have done so far. We have done the introduction, we have done the body paragraphs, and now we are into the conclusion part. Before I move on to writing, there are some points that has to be taken into account before I'll move ahead. So let's talk about the first point. That is, you should take about 3 to 5 minutes time, 5 minutes time, especially in the question, discuss both the sides and give your personal opinion, because giving your personal opinion in the conclusion might take some more time. Or you should write about 30 to 40 words, but you can write it longer. In again, the same thing, discuss both the views and give your opinion. So you can write up to 50 to 60 words here if you are giving your opinion in the conclusion, and I have suggested you to give the conclusion in the end, right? Your conclusion should not look like your introductions. It must be different, and I'll give you with by comparing introduction with conclusion in all three examples, right? While summarizing the main points in conclusion, try to write it differently from the body paragraph. What I mean, don't write the same grammatical structure, don't write the same expression and vocabulary that you have used. Try to be a bit different so that you're writing something in a capsule. Try to encapsulate the thing. In opinion essay, say what you have proved and how. Because finally, your introduction, you say that I'm going to prove. So finally, you have to say I have proved it, and perhaps then how you have to give it. In discussion essays, simply recap the main points because you're not talking about proving anything. You can add some general suggestions related to the topic in the end if you feel that it can be used. Example, in a way you're calling upon others to take certain action, perhaps if it is related to the morality, perhaps, or something related to the conscience of a person, perhaps awakening of conscience, something like that, perhaps. Yes. And okay, so I'll show you three examples now. You can start with this one. So these are the language that you can use when you're writing the conclusion part. If you have to end up with an opinion, like discuss both the views and give your opinion, perhaps personally, I believe I would recommend strongly this one because this clearly indicates that you're giving your personal opinion here. Otherwise, even in the beginning, you can say, in my opinion, in my view, it's better, rather than saying I think or something. These are better academic sentences, so better use them. For the conclusion part, and like in conclusion, to sum up, having looked at both sides, perhaps if you're giving your opinion again, only then you can use this. To sum up, when even if you're not giving your personal opinion, you can use them. Based on the above mentioned argument, these two are all about taking your stand. To conclude is neutral, so it is clear, obvious that perhaps again the neutral part. Linking devices, suppose you have to write down 2 point of view, you can use although, while, whereas, despite, in spite of, however, nevertheless, right? These are the expressions you can use. So let's look at the example. First one was opinion question. And this is the introduction part. We have already done it. You can see that it was like community service. The topic was related to community service, whether you think it's good or bad. So you can see the language that is used in introduction. I would strongly recommend this as, so it seems that I'm introducing my opinion. But see the conclusion part, you'll say, in conclusion, I think making unpaid social service obligatory is a worthwhile idea, right? And I hope this program will be put into action. So now this is call into action, so I am calling upon others. I've told you, you can come up with some general ideas, so that, so, right, so this kind of expression that you're using here is saying that you're finishing by calling upon the people, please do this, so that they can have the sense of accountability and understand the significance of money and hard work. So you can see there's a clear difference between these two. So you always have to keep in mind that there should be a difference, the way introduction, because most of the time it seems that we have to write the same statement or same thing in introduction as well in conclusion, and this is true as well, but then you have to bring out the changes that you can. Let's look at the second example, right? This is a discussion question. Again, you are familiar with this. There is no denying the fact many parents purchase a multitude of playthings for this, so it was about the toys, right? So there is no denying the fact. You can see this perhaps mostly used in the introduction, because this is the time when you are putting out your facts, right? And the language of conclusion will be based on the above ideas. It is clear that this situation is not as straightforward as it first appears. It would seem that, so he's summing it up, but nowhere it is clearly written that this is what I personally believe, right? So this is what is something that you have to keep in mind when you're writing the discussion questions. Although I believe that based on the above ideas can be mostly used in opinion based, but here they're not giving any opinion. It is clear that the situation is not as straightforward as it first appears. It would seem that, so again you can see the language, it would seem that one of the many duties of parents is to make an informed choice about how many toys they buy for their young ones, right? So that was, there's no opinion here, as you can see in the first one. If I again go back, I think, you can see the language, I think, right? And the second one, there is nothing like I think. Now we'll come to the third example, and this is opinion discussion both, so somewhere you have to say I think. So this was the first one. Some countries have single-sex education models, while in others both single-sex and mixed school coexist, and it is up to the parents or the children to decide which model is preferable. In this essay, so see, I will discuss. You can see the language. In this essay, I will discuss both sides. So I will discuss the moment you have written it and explain my support for both. So that is introduction. When you come to the conclusion, you can see discuss both the views and give your opinion is the topic. So personally I think that it's clear, and I've told you the conclusion can be a bit longer in this type of question where you are coming up with your opinion in the end, because you need to add something to that. Of course not anything new, what you have already written in the body paragraph, somehow you have come up with a kind of explanation with that, right? Personally, I think that there are advantages to both systems. I went to a mixed school, so he's talking about supporting both the point. I went to a mixed school but feel that I myself missed the opportunity to specialize in science because it was seen as the natural domain and career path for boys when I was a girl. So it's proving the point, right? So because of that, I would have preferred to go to a girls' school, but hopefully times have changed and both genders of students can have equal chance to study what they want to do in whichever type of, so it's a bit longer giving you personal opinion with some explanation if possible, come up with some example, right? Because we are supporting both the points, so perhaps you have to take both the points into consideration, right? So let's some more points related to the conclusion. Do not simply state that topic has benefits and drawbacks, or each viewpoint has pros and cons. I'm talking about the conclusion. Or I agree, disagree with the given statement. This does nothing to summarize the main idea, but only rephrase your introduction. So be careful you're not writing it the same way. Try to paraphrase the content of the body paragraph, right? What you have written in the body paragraph, try to paraphrase them. If you have written greater affordability as a point there, try something like less expensive. And this is very important, you know. That's a good example. You can see that. Do not add any unnecessary or new information in your conclusion. I've already told you that. This is a waste of time, and you should try to save as much time as possible to check for errors in your writing. And always keep in mind that it should not appear or read like your introduction. Give the hint that you're wrapping up through your language. So it's give the hint, not hint. There's a typo error again. All right. So I hope you have understood it, and you'll try to practice all of them when writing conclusion. And the three examples were clear enough to show you the differences between introduction and conclusion. Okay. So that's all about this video of conclusion. Bye for now. See you in the next video with a new lesson.